Welcome to our podcast. Today's guest is the CEO of Founders First Network, Praveen Dorna. Founders First Network is a platform dedicated to helping early stage founders validate their ideas and build real business the lean way. With a background in product management, entrepreneurship, and innovation, Praveen has mentored hundreds of startups build a thriving founder community. He's passionate about making startup knowledge practical, accessible, and actionable, especially for the first time founders and students. If you're a student or an aspiring entrepreneur wondering how to go from an idea to impact, this episode is packed with insights directly from the CEO. Let's deep dive in. Hey Praveen, good morning. Welcome to Crunchy AI Talks.
Thanks, Kirtana. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. So we'll dive deep into your portfolio and then try to understand a lot more about where you are, what you are, and then what inspiration we can take from you. Okay.
Sure. Definitely.
So this would be kind of a rapid fire questions. So the first question out there would be, what inspired you to start Founders First Network?
So I have been a startup guy since the last 10 years. So I've been building startups. My previous ventures was a social network for startup ecosystem. So I was working with thousands of founders. I was teaching this topic called lean startup in business schools, which is again, how do you test your ideas iteratively? So I've been like seeing so many people try to build ventures and fail. But I think the most common mistake I see is the ground floor is not built properly. And that is where I really wanted to start seeing how do we fix that ground floor? Because if you actually have a solid foundation on testing and validating your idea, then building on top of it is much easier. So that was the inspiration because I see that 90-95% of the crowd belongs to that. So if I can actually even influence that, the success rate of startups can increase significantly and founders will have less pain in the journey. Yeah.
Got it. So did the time at your college somehow help you, frame your career that you are today?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think not many people know me in my school or plus two intermediate, right? I was a very silent person. So I consciously tried to, what do you say, become an extrovert from an introvert in my engineering actually. So I literally started participating in everything I could get. Like literally my extracurriculars was 3 pages of resume by the end of fourth year. So my classmates gifted me a T-shirt with Chatterbox written on it. So by the end of fourth year, so college was a very important place. One was in terms of personality change because I understood that you have to be a salesman first if you have to sell your pitch, build your company. And the second major change that really helped me was I was trying to learn a lot of skills around creating and monetizing stuff. So I was trying to learn code, I was trying to learn how to sell, I was trying to organize a lot, people management and all. So college was actually, in fact, very instrumental for me in building the foundation, though I didn't have all the answers.
Great. That was really a great answer. So, what would you actually term that one turning point in your career? What was it?
I don't have a turning point. I think every 2 years is the turning point. So I think the way I look at it is, see, a lot of people look at it in white and black, right? I look at a journey as a sine curve, especially folks are engineers listening to it. So it's just about you'll have your ups, you'll have your downs, and you keep going through that journey. I just try to accelerate that journey by throwing myself down much before I fall down or pushing myself up before much before I can get the natural destiny rise, right? So that all happens with action. And I think the biggest thing that I want to convey to everyone out there is you have to truly take ownership of your life or career, not letting like the company to take decisions or somebody else to take decisions. If you really plan for just 2 years ahead, you don't have to plan for rest of your life and you don't have to be right. Just think that I want to explore this for the next 2 years and figure out, give it your 100% and give all your time and try to be the best, and then in 2 years again keep revisiting. So that's how I pretty much live my life. So when you see my resume you'll understand that I'm everywhere in
Absolutely.
multiple roles.
So till now we try to understand how did you come to this level. Now we'll try to understand what you're doing that is helping the society so much. You have a lot of followers on LinkedIn. You've actually changed the careers of a lot of people, right? So why do you think validating a startup idea is so important?
Because you're putting your life into it, right? So primarily, I see so many people are so passionate about driving change. I mean, aspirations are different. Some are doing it for the money. Some of them are actually doing it for solving a problem, right? Each of them are, but one common thing I find is people are quite passionate. It's like emotions take over logic, right? So when that happens, what happens is you can't think as clear. And secondly, a lot of people don't have the fundamental knowledge around how to go about this journey. Because typically a small business, there are lakhs and lakhs of small businesses to copy from. But when it comes to startups, you don't have enough examples or there are not enough figured out business models to copy from. So there's a lot of challenge. So when things are like 90-95% failure rate, I think it becomes even more important to test it. Like, for example, you're walking on a new road and you literally don't know what is on that road. You have to be more careful and watchful on walking that road rather than a road that you already know. So that is why I think everyone has to validate before they build.
Perfect. So, in fact, what I see with AI coming into the picture is, let's say, if there is 10% of the startups today compared in the market, tomorrow that would definitely be within like next 5 years, it would be like 50% of the market is all about startups, in near future. So, with that, what you're doing is predominantly very important for everyone to go through before they start up. I mean, they do a startup. So, yeah, we'll dive deep. So, what's a common mistake that you have seen that founders make with their MVPs?
So primarily, the most common thing that people do is build and sell. Okay, so they have an idea by natural, instinct. You go and you start building, right? Like you see a problem and you want to go build an app. You see a problem, you want to do something and start doing some, building an offline shop. But the challenge is you truly don't know who are you selling to, what are you selling, and what is the price point. Because imagine you spend 10 lakhs to start something and then realize that nobody wants to come into that shop. That is like a huge load of finance as well as mental stress and financial stress, right? So, and in the process, you lose a lot of your time, which is even more important, right? You spend years of things. So that is where I feel that instead of build and sell, people have to follow the sell and build approach, right? And that is where it's not about asking people saying that, hey Kirtana, will you buy this? All this is like, again, fooling yourself. But when you really try to sell something, when people pay for it or when people actually sign up for it, that shows a lot more true commitment for you to build your product because they're actually acting on it. Actions matter, not words, right? So that is where we have to follow the sell and build. And that's why, like, I found that not many people in India actually know this topic. So I've built an entire program and a course just to help people understand what is really step-by-step way of approaching this whole, idea to launch validation systems. Yeah.
Super, that really sounds interesting. Now, with this, what I wanted to understand from you is can you, again, don't name it, but then give us an example how your foundation or how your training has helped the company save their place in the market?
Yeah, so I'll keep it simple. Like, we have been running like a bunch of cohorts as well, just for understanding like how well is our education, right? So almost in every single cohort that we have done, nearly 70 people in 30 days are no more pursuing the same idea. Right. So a lot of them have realized that their ideas don't matter because, again, that's another very big misconception that ideas are everything. Right. So this is where what we follow is we follow very customer problem centric approach because end of the day, if some person is really having a problem and they're willing to pay, then your idea can be optimized for it, not the other way around. And this is where what one of the examples to give you is somebody was working around baby care products, right? And then they were thinking that they'll kind of put all the products together and take it to the market. So instead of that, what we did, we stopped and we said, hey, let's validate this idea, right? And once they put the poster for it along with their offering and all, and they started pitching to parents, right? It's for 0 to 1 year parents around colic products. One of the key learning that they started getting was moms are not the decision makers, but dads are for the first 3 months, because moms are so tired and caught up that they don't have time to research what is the best colic products. Now, these are some of the insights. Now, imagine somebody doesn't understand this, and then when they started packaging and putting it together, we still didn't build anything. They were still continuing to pitch that because one of the goal we had was like to convert 10 sales. So if they're unable to convert 10 sales, what is the point of getting material and putting in a warehouse, right? So this way they are evolving, and now in 2, 3 months of their time, now they are at a stage where, they have even done some workshops to understand parents. So literally in the last 2, 3 months, they actually haven't built, they have been validating. And now they have reached a point where people are buying some of the baby care products that they are putting in packaging in their style. And this is where now they're starting to build. So this is like one example among hundreds of examples that I can give where a lot of people get a reflection of their mirror and their idea.
No, no, very inspiring, you know. In fact, testing before even developing is like a very important perspective that you brought into the table, right? So
Right.
that's a very good one. Moving on, let's dive into my target audience who are like students, right? So if there is one skill that a college student, like BTech or whatever you want to target it, so if there is one skill that they have to learn, what would it be?
I would say in the current age, problem solving. Literally, I'm betting on that one single word for the next 10 years because right now, what happens is most of them are not good problem solvers. They are very good at doing tasks. So tasks could be, building a product UI, it could be doing a marketing, or as a student, it could be like, just doing a event management. Now, all these are more of tasks, right? But tasks is just like a job. But the moment you switch it into problem solving, I'm asking you to, let's say, improve the curriculum of a school. I'm asking you to now, probably build a much smaller laptop. I'm asking you to probably, see how we can reduce the traffic in the city. Now, once you start getting into this problem solving approach, this is not something which is common. This and it's a very multidisciplinary area. So you need knowledge, you need understanding of different areas connected, and a lot of these things. And this is where people need problem solving skills. And literally, the whole Founders First, course that we are building up is purely to help them understand that first principle thinking. To say how do you identify a customer, how do you know what's the problem, how do you actually come up with solutions, how do you test all this that what you're saying is true, or what is the pivots that you do. Once you learn all those things, right, then the layer of AI, the tools and everything around the tech is very easy to apply because you exactly know what you're doing. Like, in product management, how you say you have a PRD, right? Similarly, here you have a whole map on what exactly. If I really know that kids want something online which will help them improve their English, I can really focus on building that out, testing and selling to them and getting money. So the way I tell the students right now is you can learn all the different areas, but everything has to have a ground floor, which is the problem solving skills. And that is non-negotiable because in the future, a lot of people are not going to get jobs or stick to jobs because companies are getting super efficient. So there would not be enough jobs. A lot of people have to be creators or entrepreneurs or micro entrepreneurs or gig-based economies. Yeah.
Absolutely. That sounds great. Now, moving on, how can, so let's say there's a college student. I actually met like around 15, 20 kids who are in like second year of their college and already planning for a startup and simultaneously working on some startup ideas and so on. So now let's say if a college student want to test startup idea while still in college, is there any platform in your curriculum to address that as well?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much the whole curriculum is action oriented. So we haven't even put what is the definition of entrepreneurship. So it is very much like, we have everything like founder market fit and really them being able to map on a template, what is their founder market fit. Or you talk about ideation, we talk about all the different techniques of ideation and that they can actually apply. So everything is covered in a very step-by-step journey where you are learning. That is one part. The second part is application of learning. And that is where what we are doing is we are having weekly working sessions. We even have some advanced programs on handheld. Like, we are guiding them along in their journey, like 90-day sprints. So what we're actually doing is not just teaching. So I'm not looking at education as a primary. I'm looking at education as a complementary. So that is why the name is Founders First Network and not something else. because we are taking somebody in a network through a journey, and education is missing today. That is why we are just adding that. Now, in the future, if connections are missing, we'll add that. If investments are missing, we'll add that. So the
Understood.
point is all about being a friend to any person who wants to try out. And coming to the college students that you're talking about, I truly can suggest one small exercise. Why don't they pick one small problem in their own college and try to solve it? Don't worry about unicorns, don't worry about making it big, right? So why not just see what is one small problem inside their college that they can come up with a solution in a week, or can go through the journey in a week and come up with something interesting. So that will start helping them build the problem solving skills, because it is like a marathon. You have to keep building it up.
Yeah, yeah, that's a very good start, in fact, right? So first see what is in hand, then go for the rest of the world. So it's really a very good suggestion. Moving on, see, as a college students, we'll have a lot of things to do. In fact, right? You'll have to learn a lot. You'll have to learn the curriculum. You'll have to build a friendly family as well. If I have to talk about, right? So there are a lot of things that you have to do in college, and that's where we also get to explore the world as well. Now, with all of this, if a one has to manage that plus a startup dream, what do you suggest? Couple of tips for them, as in, in a day, do I have to spend like 2 hours on my idea, or what would it be? How do I even plan that or schedule that and organize my day? So, what are the tips on that aspect from you, Praveen?
So I think the first tip that I'll give is progress over perfection. A lot of people try to be idealistic. It's not idealistic. Like, for example, I want to learn a skill. Even if you spend 15 minutes a day, or maybe in a week, you only do it 3 days a week, you're still much better than somebody who didn't start in the whole year thinking that I have to give 2 hours a day, right? So that is the first tip that I would give, because anybody who's actually making progress, I mean, it can be as simple as, maybe this week I'll figure out an idea or figure out a problem statement. Who do I want to solve with? Next week, they might say that, what should I do about this problem statement? How do I test this problem statement? So even when they're incrementally doing it, they realize what they don't know. It could be customer knowledge. It could be even actual knowledge where they realize that, hey, I really don't know how to test. I have to go learn. I really don't know how to market something. I have to go learn. And even this discovery will actually start giving them week on week progress on things, right? And that is the first area that I really want them to focus on. The second area I really want them to focus on is the world is outside the college and not inside the college, right? So a lot of them really think that being in a college is that everything is given or you get everything. But unfortunately, I think college is a great place to build your foundation. But the real innovation, the real problems, real challenges, everything is happening outside. The real network is outside. So as long as you're somebody who's a sitting duck waiting on the road, waiting for a bus to come hit you, right? You would always be on the defense, right? You actually have to be on the offense where you're saying that, hey, where is activity happening? Where is innovation happening? Which founders are doing great? You actually have to go out into the world and also learn how to network, how to engage, how to get mentors, how to get internships, right? And how to even build stuff. Like when you're talking about building startups, you are in a digital world where literally you can just go online, be part of any community, any network, start sharing your WhatsApp stuff in your groups, everything, right? So you literally, the only reason I think somebody is not doing is intent, and nothing else. Once you have the intent, learning, skills, network, finances, everything will slowly start coming in. But I would say that is the right word is mindset and the intent. Yeah.
Perfect. Very well put. Now, following up on the same extent, right? If a college student, again, my target is all about college students, how do they shape their career? Because that's where everything starts. It's not when you step your foot into the company where it starts right from the college or even prior to that. So, when you have to, so a lot of people are stuck in terms of how do I build my community? How do I get to know new people? How do I get to know stuff? Because today, like you rightly said, there are a lot of things outside. There are websites, there are YouTube channels being put across, there is LinkedIn, there are a lot of things, right? So one suggestion which I have given to the mentees that I was mentoring was go on to LinkedIn, look at your interest areas, follow those people who are putting comments, and then that's how at least you start off with it. And once you know the people, you can search for them anywhere, and then you will get to know more about it. So if you have to add a couple of more tips to improve their network right from the college days, what would it be?
So I think the first question is, why do you want to network, right? See, end of the day, anything without a purpose is like you're walking on a road without knowing where your destination is, right? For example, if I want a network for building a startup, right? Then I'm trying to find which communities are there, who are the people in the startup space, who are the people sharing knowledge, who are the people enabling stuff. So first is truly that basic discovery on what do you want to do. It's okay if you don't know the answers, but you can at least put a hypothesis, right? Saying that, hey, I want to build a startup, I want to get a job, I want to get an internship, something like that. So that is the first step. Now, after this first step, you live in a chat GPT world or AI world where actually it can give you enough answers for a lot of these things, right? Saying that what are the first few steps that I can take. Now, here the second major tip that comes is action. So a lot of people think that I just message one person and they have to respond. A lot of people think that I know I watch some one video and I understand it. It doesn't work like that. You really have to master the skill of networking. You have to master the skill of learning something, right? I think one of another super big skill that a lot of people don't really understand is art of learning things. Okay, if you know how to learn, you can actually learn anything, right? So that itself is a skill that people don't understand. So now this is where now some of the small tips I can give them is first is go attend events, right, around your relevant areas. Because I think one of the best way to network, I tell a lot of people, is you don't have to lead it. You just go and start participating in some places where activity is happening around what you want, right? You want to build startups. Why don't you just go to the startup event? Don't worry about it's awesome, it's bad. Like, when you're starting off, it truly doesn't matter. Anything is better than nothing. So one is activity in terms of going and visiting and being in these places. Second is starting to act on your stuff, because a lot of times when you even go to these places and network or online and network, if you just say, hey, I want to network with you, Kirtana, it's meaningless. But instead of that, I say that, hey, I'm actually building this and I need help in marketing. Can you just guide me on that? Or I'm trying to build my Instagram page. You have a kick-ass Instagram page. How can I, take some of your inputs? Can you review my page? Now, this is very tangible, actionable help that you're asking. When you do this, automatically people feel worth of their time as well to give you, and they'll start involving into your life without you understanding it. And that's how you build a lot more connected people. So networking is not about just going, meeting people and adding people on LinkedIn. Networking is a lot about meaningful connections where people invest time into you and you invest time into them. And together, you're actually creating something of value, right? And a lot of people have this misconception that I need a huge network. You don't need a huge network. You need relevant network, right? And even if you try, you can't even be in touch with 50 people, to be honest, right? So that's the reality. So a lot of them, like I said, right, progress over perfection. A lot of people really think that they want to do perfection because they have been brought upon perfection by their parents, by their teachers, saying that, oh, people will hate you if you fail. People will hate you if you actually, don't make it, right? You're judged on your success. So in that kind of world, I know it's very challenging, but you have to accept and start somewhere. And over the period of time, you would be much ahead of others. Yeah. So I
Wonderful.
just want to add one line is do activity, participate, volunteer, build something, and start communicating with the relevant stakeholders. Once you do that, and most importantly, I think I'll tell you one thing is helping others. I think even if I have to add one before everything else, I think I would add helping others, because initially what happens is you might want to take everything, but you don't have anything to give. But imagine you start giving, then they'll also feel like they want to give you back. So, but if you just go and randomly start taking, it's like me saying that, hey, Kirtana, give me money or do this, then, a lot of people will just say, who's this person? Why am I doing it? But instead of that, think of this way saying that, hey, Kirtana, what do you need help with? Oh, you're doing a podcast. Can I be of help in something? Can I help you with some connections? Can I do some research for you? Once you start doing this, this is a great way of building relationships that even I have personally used and it works.
No, that's a really very good idea. So, moving on, what is that one lesson that you wish you knew when you were in college?
Hmm. I think, I wasn't fortunate as much as the current generation. We didn't have even the word startup around or the knowledge or support system or mentorship or guidance. I think if I was in college and doing things back, I think I felt that college is a time when you have the most amount of time. A lot of people think that when they start doing the job, they'll have more time. But as you grow older, I only realized you have lesser time, right? In fact, now I'm prioritizing time over even money, right? So during in college days, if they can actually use those 4 years in a very meaningful way, building stuff, and they don't have to succeed, they have to fail a lot of times. If they're actually able to do that, I think they've done the job. And yes, some of them might succeed, some of them might get kick-ass jobs, some of them might build a startup. But I would say that is a bonus, and the journey is the real part of it, right? So for every student, what I say is right from your first year, have that curiosity because now we are living in a world where everything can be done. Like literally one person companies can be built. AI can happen, like bots can happen, everything can happen. It's a matter of your intent. So why don't you start? Like, because I think a lot of people, I don't see much stories on LinkedIn or like, them sharing what are they building on, what is their life and all, right? So how do I even know who is actually the cool student versus the non-cool student, right? So I think one of the things that I would, or maybe you should, even with the community that you're working with, is more in terms of helping them communicate themselves really well outside. Because even if they share their failures, their success, and all, a lot of people will be able to relate. And when they do this for 4 years, I think they're already hired by somebody. Because end of the day, people love people who are doing stuff and trying out.
Absolutely, very well put. So, in fact, one point to add is when I was in college, maybe 10 years back, I didn't hear about a lot of hackathons happening, right? But then one difference that I've seen my college students doing today, my juniors doing today, is to attend a lot of hackathons, talk about that on LinkedIn and details like this. So, this is where the future should be. Like, they should be attending hackathons, they should be attending workshops, like you rightly put, they should be attending events, helping others. All of this would be very beneficial for them in the future to be part of a company or make a company. That's what I would put it to be. So a couple of more questions about your success stories, right? I mean, I know you already shared one, but then in order to get more understanding of it, right? So can you share one success story from your founder community which really had a lot of impact because of the training that they took from you?
So I wouldn't say that a success story because for us, success is even making them fail. Okay, so it depends on what your definition of success is, because literally every single person that who's seriously working in our community, we are able to show them results in 3 months, whether something is working or not working, right? So in fact, most of them actually leave or churn because they've already succeeded in failing, that their idea doesn't work or they've pivoted enough number of times where they realize they have to take a pause, right? And coming to the success stories, can't tell that right away because we just started 6 months ago in building this curriculum and the system. But I've been teaching this topic with thousands of people over the last 10 years. So in that journey, yes, we have taught many people, and many of them have went and built businesses, or they even come back and now tell me different journeys. But I don't think I can take complete credit for everything that they have done just because of a 3 month course that I've taken. But in Founders First Network, I can truly take credit to a good part of it because we are taking them from 0 to 1, right? So I think that would be a better way. But like I say, right, maybe they should really think about success as even failing fast, right? I think if they can really get that mindset out, that is cool. But otherwise, I'll give you a small example. One of our most recent cohorts, these people are literally putting out landing pages and testing every week, right? And they're getting users, they're not getting users. Based on that, they're iterating. So every week we are actually designing progress rather than saying that we have a final answer. So a lot of people, like I said, as they think X and there is Y and in between there is nothing. There is X1, X2, X3, X4, right? And based on those things, we are iterating. And I think that is what it is. So if anybody wants to really understand what we do and all, happy to connect, and more than happy to even make our community talk. In fact, more than me, I think you should be talking to the people who are going through the journey. Maybe they can share better insights in terms of how the journey transformed, because I get a lot of testimonials. So I really think maybe talking to them might be a great idea to really see what they are doing, and I'm happy to connect.
Definitely. I'll that's my next step then.
No,
Okay,
please, because I think each of them, if they share their examples of how they went on experiment, literally, I built Founders First on experimentation,
correct.
right?
Understood.
Literally, my first post got me more than 100 interest when I said I'll help you validate with your idea, right? And from there, we filtered 20 people, and we took 20 people through the journey. When I was doing that 20 people through the journey, we even didn't put a 3 month lock in. We put monthly subscriptions on a recurring basis. So more than 90% of them actually subscribed every month. That means that they found value in every month. And that's why they subscribed for the next month. And then we learned that education is needed, and we didn't start building education. We just put out a landing page saying that we're launching something on idea validation knowledge boot camps, and you come in, and we got 20 plus signups, right? And that's when we took the course. So if you see, right, I'm doing the sell and build. I'm not doing something different. And now we are automating the entire course and trying to scale it. Now again, we are building a landing page and putting it out to see like how many people are truly interested in this. And I will be tweaking the system where eventually it's like automated way of learning and building. So
Wonderful.
everything is an experiment. If they really appreciate the experimentation methodology, then I think it'll make sense to
Great.
talk with me. Otherwise, we are not the right people to do. Yeah.
Understood. Now, one last question, right?
Yeah.
How is artificial intelligence changing how you have worked so far versus how will it change in future? What are your thoughts on AI changing the future of startups?
So I think AI is the future because end of the day, I have never dreamt of building one person companies before. Now, actually, I'm working towards building one person companies, right? I'm trying to understand how do you build a whole AI marketing agent which connects all the dots. I'm trying to see how do you build founder engagement bots, right? So there is so much that a person can do now with AI that it literally, I would say it's more of lack of knowledge on knowing what is the use cases rather than anything else. Because imagine even if you want to create a video, if you really know that, hey, there's a platform where you can just put your content and it produces a video, now that person is smarter. So if you ask about the evolution of how it is going to impact, literally my whole company is being built on AI right now. As in my landing pages, my copies, my course curriculum, the way we even support the founders, right? So a lot of these things, and as we go along, all the bots will be built on AI or interactions will be built on AI. So that way, AI is doing it because end of the day, I really think how a student or a working professional should look at it right now. First thing is, how do you take value from AI? What I mean is, I was recently talking to a student who graduated from a college, and he's now trying to build AI agents for making money because until it becomes common, it is still not common, right? So he's just taking projects and building. Somebody's doing landing pages and making money with Lovable, right? So you can actually now start doing it because somebody's charging 50,000, 1 lakh for a website. You can build a great website in like, hardly 5,000 rupees and 10,000 rupees and make money on that 10,000 rupees because it hardly costs you $20, right? So this is the beauty of how AI is helping. So the next is a lot of efficiency play. So you will end up trying to build efficiency in every business, and every business wants your help, and that's where you can make money. After that, it'll be a whole automation play because AI will get so smart that it'll start building itself, like how Google founder is talking about, or GPT founders are talking about. In 1 year, the system will produce the next version of Gemini, right? So this is where the future is going to be. So I think the person who really understands problem solving, identifying a customer, identify a problem, and figuring out that clarity of that journey, these are the people who are going to be the next generation winners or next generation unicorns or the big people, because for them the world is limitless now. You take anything, you have all the tools, everything available at your hand. But I think the next superpower is clarity of thought, right? That is what I'm betting on, and that's what my whole course is betting on, that if I can actually help people learn how to get clarity of thought or the mindset, I think there's no shortage of tools and enough people teaching tools. So yeah.
Very well put, very well put. Thank you so much for your time, Praveen. This was really a very insightful conversation in terms of we talking about what a college student should do versus how will the future turn to everyone else. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for the brilliant inputs that we had.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Bye.
Bye.